So it's two egos right there, already going at it. Boom. Two egos already going at it. Bound for trouble to happen, bound for stuff to happen. And what's the problem? Both of them lack understanding. Both of them are on an ego trip. Both of them are angry. Both of them have the same exact spirit. Not all men of the law are justified in their actions. Bad cops do exist. And when the blacks say that the white cops are picking on them, they're not wrong. There are cops who do pick on the black people. And we should be honest about that. Do the blacks overreact? Yes. And of course, not all blacks overreact, right? But do some cops pick on the blacks? Yes. Why do bad cops exist? Why do cops pick on the blacks? Well, for one, you got to remember, cops are people too. Cops are angry too. In their anger, in their arrogance, they do stupid stuff. They're on an ego trip. They got a gun on their waist. They got the law on their side. So their ego goes out of control and they do stupid stuff, right? So why shouldn't bad cops exist? Meaning, why don't they? All cops are not good. But the reason why I bring that up is because we got to bring a little context. There should be some context in there. Why are the cops behaving in this way? Why do cops pick on the blacks? Well, you guys to also understand is that the behavior is uncontrollable in the black community. The way they overreact, the way they're triggered by anything you say, the way they commit crime, the way how dangerous they are. So you got to understand too, though the cop may be arrogant and angry and be on an ego trip, he's still not ignorant to the fact that he has to stay on his toes when it comes to dealing with a black person. And they're also fed up with having to constantly deal with bad behavior, right? So they're probably fed up and they're trying to stand up, but just doing it in the improper way. So there's content, there's a reason why they do what they do, but it doesn't justify that they're bad cops, right? It doesn't justify your actions. You got to uphold the law, period. You can't be so sensitive and overreacting and be fed up that it allows you not to do your job properly. So there are angry cops. And I'm going to show you guys an example real quick here. But this is from X. Cop pulls over black man unaware he was an on-duty FBI agent. Here we go.
What is this? Is this fake?
Federal agent.
This arrogant police officer didn't know that he had pulled over an FBI agent. The cop treated him disgustingly by harassing him, but when he realized what he had done, it was already over.
Favorite, open all the windows.
What?
Open all the windows.
What?
You want me to make your life difficult? Because I love making people's lives difficult.
Really?
There you go. I just did that. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Okay.
Could you call your supervisor?
Are you deaf?
You call your supervisor?
Oh, there's no supervisor.
There's no supervisor?
No, there is no supervisor. Put your hands up there.
I got a gun on my side.
Okay. Where's the gun?
Please?
Where's the gun?
On my right. Right here.
Okay.
On my right hand.
For my safety and your safety, we're going to do this today, okay? Oh, you have a license to carry this?
We're in Florida, right?
But, do you have a...
I sure enough do.
It's called a concealed carry permit.
Listen, my license is around my neck.
Oh.
I carry it around my neck.
What is this? Is this fake? A lot of people like to act like they're cops.
Federal agent.
Oh, right. Where's the ID?
Federal agent.
Okay.
So now my badge don't even make a difference.
So you're a cop. So why wouldn't you tell me?
Yo,
You been drinking today?
Drinking, sir. We don't drink.
I smell alcohol emanating from the vehicle.
Actually, we're doing an investigation on... You didn't call your sergeant here, neither.
There's no sergeant.
The things that we supposed to do here, right?
Okay. You could have just identified yourself as...
When I showed you my badge and you grabbed my badge, you still didn't believe it was real.
Because people impersonate officers all the time.
I'll make sure when I see your sergeant, we'll make sure.
Well, we don't have to go that far, okay?
No, we won't. We'll go farther than that. We'll make sure we talk to them. We'll make sure we do a lot of things on this. I'm pretty sure you probably have other offenses against you. But you have a nice day. I continue to have a mine.
Listen.
I appreciate you, sir.
Listen.
Sir, I appreciate you.
Yeah, he felt stupid, didn't he? He felt dumb at the end. He's like, oh man. He's like, I love giving people a hard time. I love ruining their day. Remember he was mocking the black guy in the whole beginning, right? And the FBI agent, he was calm. He was like, oh, okay. And look, he got caught up. And that exists. And I wanted to point that out just because I want to also make the point that exists. That's out there. I think the issue is that there's a lack of understanding. And I want to talk about the blacks really quick. Part of the picture of why the black community is the way they are. Erratic, defensive against the cops, resisting arrest, attitude. I want to give a little context in my belief of why they are that way. Is for one, you got to understand that obviously that we know it starts with the anger within, right? Angry, upbringing, lack of guidance. We know it started in the home. We know that, right? We also know that they grow up around a community or society that has these false rules that teach them silly things, right? Brainwashing, right? There's a brainwashing in the black community that everybody is against them, that, that everybody hates them and that everybody's holding them down. There's a brainwashing. That's number two. But you guys also understand within the black community, they live by this street code. And what that is that it creates major trust issues within black people. And what that does is that constantly black people within the hood, within the society, they're being tested by other black people, right? Gangs and whatever. Tested to show their weakness. And once your weakness gets shown, you're owned, right? By whoever is pushing your buttons, right? So the black community is taught to defend themselves because if you show weakness, you can get killed, you can die, you could lose your stuff. So you better defend yourself. You better demand your respect and you better die trying. So you got to understand that's the mindset that they have. Mine is already messed up. So when they go into the world and they get pulled over by cops, already having this narrative that white people and the world is against them, right? They already have that in their mind, right? It's beaten into them. They are now pulled over by cops. They have a fear. But then now they also have this pressure, right? Pressure to defend themselves due to what they've been taught. So fear with pressure, bad combo. So now they have this fear when they get pulled over that they might die. And now they have this pressure to defend themselves or don't be disrespected or they'll take advantage of your weakness and they won't, So right off the bat, they're ready. And then here comes the cop and he's on his ego trip. He's ready to defend his honor against the bad behavior of the blacks. And he walks up and is already on the offensive. So it's two egos right there, already going at it. Boom. Two egos already going at it. Bound for trouble to happen, bound for stuff to happen. And what's the problem? Both of them lack understanding. Both of them are on an ego trip. Both of them are angry. Both of them have the same exact spirit. It's evil. All in the name of victimhood. All in the name of right versus wrong. That's really what it is. Cop thought he was right, and he looked at the black man as wrong. Black man thought he was right. He looked at the cop as wrong. Both identify with right and wrong. Both caught up. No love. And we all do it. I do it. We all do it. But I say it to make the point, to allow us to recognize that there's always a story that is not understood. And that we always got to keep in mind that though we see injustice, that we are not to judge injustice, because there's always a completely clear perspective and story that we just don't understand. We just don't know. So I'm not saying don't be cautious about certain things. I'm not saying don't keep your distance around bad behavior or when something feels off. I'm not saying like, be smart, but I'm saying don't judge. We really got to overcome the judgment. Every feeling that we have, every feeling, that little emotion stirs up, those little feelings, those emotions that stir up, all come from judgment. You're either judging something that's right, you're judging something that's wrong. You feel good or you feel bad. And it's the setup. But there's always a story that we don't know. So black people have trust issues because they're taught to have trust issues. And then they have fear. So you make them uncomfortable, what are they going to do? They're going to defend themselves because they're taught to defend themselves. They have to defend themselves because the gang members and the rest of the people in the community are testing them at all times, trying to break them down. And that'll mess you up.